Welcome to the Homestead. This is the third video in our series about soup, and this is going to be an Asian soup. I got this recipe. It's actually a real recipe, believe it or not. I got this recipe from a friend of mine. Hi, Carolyn. I'm sure she's watching. She'll be super excited that I'm sharing this recipe with you, and she'll also be a little bit maybe puzzled that I've kind of simplified it. And I'm sorry, Carolyn, that's what I do. This recipe for Asian soup, like all the other method recipes we've done, is you can do a number of different things. Today I'm going to make this soup with chicken and with cabbage and carrots. I feel like those things go well with an Asian soup. I'm not sure I would do this recipe with other kinds of meat, just because I'm not sure like beef or lamb, venison, those kind of things that I cook with at other times would really go with an Asian soup. So this is probably the only recipe I've done in this series that I would just stick with chicken. But any other Asian kind of ish vegetables that you feel like sound good to you. I would use broccoli, snow peas, maybe bean sprouts, things like that would go well in Asian food. Just think about Asian veggies and then you'll have it. So today I had some cabbage that I needed to use up in my cooler and some carrots. I'm going to save the cilantro to chop up and put on top for when I serve the soup. So what I want you to realize with this recipe is that it can be made into soup, but it also, if you don't want soup, you would leave the stock out of it and serve it as a sauce over rice. One of my favorite things that I've done, I made a big pot of this, leaving out the stock, and mixed it with rice and put it in a casserole dish and took that to a potluck, and it was completely 100% gone, and I was asked for the recipe. So here is the recipe for those who asked. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna chop up 1 onion and a few cloves of garlic. Like anything else I've always said about garlic is that if you like more garlic, feel free to add more. My onions, garlic, and carrots in my pot. One of the things that I learned years ago that I didn't really know when I first started to try to learn how to not cook from a recipe was that it's really important to know the difference between the amount of times that veggies would cook. So I know that carrots will need the same amount of time as my chopped up onions to cook. So I'm gonna get those going in the pot. And then while that's working a little bit, then I'm gonna chop up the cabbage. If you're using broccoli, just be aware that broccoli does not take very long to cook. So if you're using broccoli, I would definitely add the broccoli after I have cooked everything else and after I have made the soup. I would add the broccoli in as the last ingredient. Let the broccoli cook to how you like it, a good tenderness, and then you're done. The other thing I'm gonna add to this is coconut oil. So I'm just gonna get like just a good tablespoon, 2 tablespoons-ish, something like that, of coconut oil. let my onions and my carrots just tender a little bit, and then I'm going to add the chicken to cook the rest of the way while those are cooking before I add the cabbage. These are just a couple chicken breasts. I like to cut them across the grain like that. First thing I'm going to put in is a can of coconut milk. If you're going to buy coconut milk, I would really recommend do not buy the light kind. The light kind really is just half coconut milk and half water. So if you're interested in a kind of a lower fat kind of version of this, I would just say use half a can of coconut milk and the rest water. But don't buy the light kind. I really feel like it's a waste of money. After the coconut milk, 1 tablespoon of lime juice. I'm just using this little measure for everything. This measure is 2 tablespoons, so I'm just going to fill it half full. Then I'm going to use 4 tablespoons of liquid aminos. If you don't have this, you can use soy sauce, but I highly recommend getting this. It's healthier for you. So I'm going to fill this little thing twice, 4 tablespoons. And then this fish sauce is made with anchovies, and I didn't realize what a wonder using fish sauce could do to making Asian food. It really gives it that flavor you're looking for. And 1.5 tablespoons of fish sauce. I'm just going to fill this shy of the top. That's about 1.5. Then to make it a little sweet, Asian food is just a little sweet, I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So you're gonna see as this cooks down, the cabbage is gonna wilt and you're gonna have more of a sauce. When that's done, I'm gonna add my stock, and I think I have beef stock today. So at this point, if you want to use it as a sauce over rice, then I would just say let it cook down a little bit more until your veggies are tender, and then you could put it over your rice. The sauce is pretty liquidy, like you can see. So I would just say cook it down until the sauce is reduced to the right consistency that you would like. The last ingredient that gives this a really nice flavor is this green curry paste. You can get curry paste at Walmart or any other food store that you shop at. My friend Carolyn gave me this, and she found it at a specialty Asian store. She's like, this is her favorite brand. So I still have not used it all up, but I think probably when I do, I'll be just getting regular green curry paste at Walmart and see how it tastes. The other thing I'm going to say about this is it is super spicy. Carolyn really likes spicy food. She says 3 tablespoons to put into this recipe. Now, my family cannot tolerate that. Maybe Zach can. I can't even tolerate that much. So I am just going to use a little bit. Okay, the other thing that you should know is pretty clumpy, so do not, however much you decide to use, do not put it straight into your pot because it really will not mix in very well with your liquid. So this is what I like to do. I just ladle a little bit of liquid out of it, and then I'll get a spoonful of green curry. I would say that maybe even less than a tablespoon, but you know, do a teaspoon if you're really worried about the spicy. And then I just kind of mix it in. You can see it's super stiff, so you have to really mush it around. Otherwise, somebody's gonna get a great big bite of curry in their soup, and that would be not good. I have loved Asian food all my life. If there is any treat, if we would go to a restaurant or anything like that, my pick would be a Thai restaurant. I like Chinese too, but really any Asian food I really enjoy. And yeah, Zach not so much. He would order only chicken fried rice. That's it. Nothing else. He would never try anything else. And so this was kind of like a big thing in our marriage. Like, you know, I really like curry. And he thought he didn't like it. Well, he was always having yellow curry, which he still doesn't like. Yellow curry, I would say, is more like an Indian food. But again, Carolyn introduced him to green curry, and I was like, wow, super excited, because now I can make curry, and he loves it. Okay, so that is pretty good. I feel like all of the chunks of curry are mixed in. So at this point, you could totally serve it over rice or rice noodles or anything that you like. A big bed of other veggies, whatever you like, you could serve it over. So at this point, if you're gonna do that, it's done. Turn it off. The rice casserole I made, I cooked my rice, big pot of rice, and mixed this in and put it in a casserole dish to put in the oven. That was it. But if you want to make soup, which is what we're having tonight, you can add your stock. And I can, even though I didn't label it, I know it's beef stock because this the fat rises to the top and it gets hard. If it's chicken fat or turkey fat, it won't get hard like this just at room temperature, but beef fat does. I really love chopped up raw cilantro on top of this soup. I feel like it tastes really good. It adds a little bit of extra flavor. So I'm gonna chop that up to use as a garnish when we enjoy the soup. Some people really hate stems in their cilantro. I don't chop the cilantro all the way back to the really woody part of the stem. I just use the top portion. Again, another cheater thing that I do in the kitchen is that I never strip the leaves off the top part of the stems. And honestly, nobody even really knows. Well, now you know. But nobody can tell when they're eating it. So I really hope you enjoyed this recipe and that you give it a try. We really love it. I love Asian food, and it feels really good to be able to cook it in my own kitchen with ingredients that I know are healthy. See you next time on the Homestead.